How far will your E-Trike battery take you in real-world conditions? Stick around. Hey everyone, I'm Dustin. I have 20 years experience in the bike and e-bike industry. Today we're going to answer the question, how far will your E-Trike battery take you in real-world conditions? Now, before I get into it, hit that subscribe button below. Stay in touch with us here at 630. Be the first to know about all the new content we're putting out, giveaways we're doing, and of course, new product releases. All right, I've got two of our E-Trikes here, our Simple Glide with the dual motor, dual battery, and the canopy, and our EVRYjourney Rickshaw. They're both linked in the description if you want to check them out. Okay, so we do a lot of test rides here in San Clemente, and of course, one of the main questions people ask is, how far can I go on a single charge with my battery? And I totally get it. This is a really important question, mainly because people don't want to be stranded 20 miles from home and possibly have to pedal back. Now, the good news is on any E-Trike, you can, of course, pedal manually if you don't have the electric to get you back. But most likely you don't want to do that, right? You want to be able to use the electric to get home. So now there's also a common phrase out there called range anxiety, right? Because there's that anxiety of being somewhere, not being able to get back, and like going shorter rides because you have that anxiety and that fear that you don't want to go too far so you can't get back. All right. So how far can we go in real world conditions? Well, you're going to see a lot of advertised ranges for e-bikes and e-trikes, and typically these ranges are reflective of the best case conditions and an average weight rider, right? So I would say someone 160 to 180 pounds, and then, standard conditions is a flat ground riding environment. Now, the real world conditions for all of you out there are going to vary greatly from rider to rider. Some people, it may be perfectly flat ground, paved trails or sidewalks. Other people, it may be gravel, slightly uphill rides or hard packed trails off-road. So hard for us or any brand to fully test every trike in every possible real world condition that exists out there. And I just want to add that electric cars are very much the same. Even with how sophisticated they are, when you get in your car and it tells you the range, that range is an estimation, because if you go on severe hills or if you have a lot of cargo in the car, that range is going to decrease as you drive. And you may not realize it, but what you thought maybe was 1 mile actually drains 3 miles off of the range that your dashboard is telling you. Now with e-bikes, they're not nearly as sophisticated as a lot of the electric car companies that are out there. And so it's hard to pinpoint exactly the range for every ride. Now, when you get on your e-bike, and I'll get to the final answer here, just stay with me. When you get on your e-bike, you're going to see either a range estimation or the number of batteries, right? That range is going to be based on a standard riding procedure. Now, some displays are going to fluctuate that range as you ride. So what you may see is as you start to climb a hill, your battery actually drops. It doesn't mean you've actually lost that power. It's basically telling you if you continue at this pace, you essentially only have 1 bar left. Then when you get flat ground, you may see more bars pop up. So it's trying to adjust your projected battery life based on the output that it's giving you. So with that said, you also have to think about, are you using the pedal assist or are you using just the throttle? You're going to get much less range using a throttle than you are going to get using pedal assist. Now, that's not necessarily true if you are cranking in the highest level of assistance, level 5. You're going to get about the same range doing that as you would with throttle only, maybe a little bit more. And again, hills have a major impact. So the other thing I just want to say too is your battery size is going to have a big impact. whether you have fat tires or thin tires is going to have a big impact as well. So I'm going to throw out some ballpark estimates here, and I would say a safe range for any E-Trike in the lowest level of assistance is going to be about 10 to 15 miles. Now, again, I'm really shooting in the dark here, because if you're talking flat ground only, you're going to get more like 25, 30, 35, 40, 50 miles, depending on the weight of the rider, because if you're a heavier rider, you're going to get less range. I'm 230 pounds. Somebody who's 150 pounds is just inevitably going to get more range, because the motor doesn't have to work as hard to get me going to the speeds I want to go. Now, I can compensate for that by going slower or using a less powerful assistance level. But if you have two people riding together on the same E-Trike, one's 150 pounds, one's 230 pounds, in the same level of assistance, trying to go about the same speed, the lighter person most likely is going to have more battery at the end of the ride. Now, or if you're trying to go the same speed and so the heavier person has to increase the assistance to keep up to the lighter weight person, which is most likely going to be true, then the heavier person's battery will drain quicker. Now, the other thing is talking about if you do throttle only. So a lot of these E-Trike companies, they're going to advertise throttle ranges. We do as well. I've actually tested it in the real world myself, and I've gotten nearly 20 miles with throttle only. Now, totally flat ground, and also strategizing on how to use the throttle between coasting and throttling to get that kind of range. Now, if you just gas the throttle straight, flat ground all the way, maybe 10 miles you're gonna get, maybe 8 miles you're gonna get. Again, that depends on the weight of the rider, but that's if you held the throttle to the floor for an entire ride. Just like in a car, you're not really gonna do that. You're not gonna keep the gas pedal completely floored for the entirety of the range that it's telling you, right? So trying to think about all this, a safe estimate is no less than 10 miles. And then really the ceiling is going to be up to 80 miles. As an example, this is a dual battery, 30 amp hours of battery. We advertise this about 85 miles of range. Again, so if you've got 30, 40, 50 amp hours of battery, that's when you can really start to get up above that 50-mile range, 100-mile range. And by the way, if you're concerned about it, you don't have to look for a double motor trike. You could buy an extra battery, carry that along with you, buy a bag that mounts to your trike, and you can put the battery on there so you can have that extra battery if you know you're going to do long-range rides. Quite honestly, that's what I'll do sometimes. Or if I'm riding the rickshaw in particular and I have a heavy load and I'm going up a lot of hills, I'll bring that extra battery with me, because in that situation, I know that I'll need the electric to get me home, especially if I have hills in the way. I have a lot less anxiety about if it's on flat ground, because I know that the effort required from me won't be substantial to get back. But again, if you have hills or kids or loads, people on the back, things like that, then yeah, you're gonna need to consider your range. Now, the last thing I'll say is every route is different, every rider is different. How you use the electric is different from the next person. The combination of pedal assist and throttle, or even not using the electric, is different from rider to rider. So I would say you're gonna have to also get familiar with the e-bike that you choose. And I know that's not something you want to hear prior to purchasing, but again, that's kind of the reality of it. As you get out and ride, you'll start to understand your battery and the range that you can get. And I think from that point, you could also decide, okay, should I buy an extra battery? You could always jump in and buy that extra battery initially, but my suggestion might just be to wait and see and get a feel for it. That's going to be the best way to test it, because honestly, like I said, all terrains are different, all body types, all electric uses are different. And it's even true for me, right? One route I might do gets me X range, another route I would do gets a different range out of the battery. So it really, really depends. If you are thinking about buying an E-Trike and you want to ask us specifically what you think the range will be for what amp hour battery you're looking to purchase on what E-Trike, you can comment below or reach out to us and we can give our assessment on it. If you can give us a little input as to how far you want to go, and we'll let you know if we think that that E-Trike battery and that E-Trike is good for you. So any other questions in addition to that, please comment below or reach out to us, the team at sixthreezero.com, or call us 310-982-2877. In addition to that, we offer a 30-day test ride your E-Trike policy. If you don't love your E-Trike in the first 30 days, send it back. No questions asked, no money out of your pocket. We're also going to warranty everything for 1 year. Anything goes wrong in the first year, we'll take care of it, parts and labor. And if you want to come out for a test ride, we are here in San Clemente, California at 1046 Calle, Recodo Unit K. Come test ride any of our E-Trikes before you purchase to ensure you're making the right choice. And join our community before you purchase. We have a Facebook group called 630 Peddlers. There's thousands of members in the group. Join the group before you purchase to talk to existing riders to ensure you're making the right choice. Then when you have yours, post in the group, make friends, and finally download the app to track your rides and compete on the leaderboard. So thanks for sticking around, and don't forget, it's your journey or experience. Enjoy the ride.